And we are live. Excellent. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the one, the only Evans News. Oops. There we go. Okay, all good now. Perfect. So, it has been a long time since the last time I've streamed. Sorry about that, guys. I know that I've not been the most, how do I say it, consistent streamer. I understand that, but I thank all my loyal subscribers for continuously joining no matter what. So, let's get into it, shall we? So, we got a couple things that I want to talk about today. Then, we'll do the whole routine of watching some PragerU, maybe watch some of the, his name, our boy Dennis Prager. We all love Dennis Prager. Love Dennis Prager. Can't get enough of that guy. But anyway, we know him. We love him. But we'll get to him later. Promise you guys. Pinky swear we'll do some PragerU later. All that kind of stuff. First, though, we have some stuff that we really need to talk about. And the first one was a shooting at a nightclub recently. Let me see if I can find it. My gosh, I cannot find an article on it, but we all know what happens. I love Elon. I know you do, buddy. I know you do. But we recently had a shooting over at a nightclub, over in Colorado Springs, and it was a gay nightclub, and there hasn't been. I remember a couple years back there was another shooting at a gay club. I think it was in Florida, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know for sure. Here we go. This is from the Gazette. Over in Colorado Spring. It was pretty bad. At least 7 people died. It was... It's really bad. Orlando, Florida. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, I don't want to get into the specifics of the shooting because I don't feel comfortable doing that. I haven't done a ton of research onto it, even though I should have. I haven't gotten into all the details about the suspect and all that kind of stuff, but I really do just want to hammer in the fact that we've been talking a lot about the spread of hateful rhetoric on the stream. We've been talking a lot about how, the rhetoric of right-wing media is becoming more and more explicitly just fascistic, just blatantly genocidal, let's be real here. And this shooting, unfortunately, is a byproduct of that type of rhetoric. There's really no getting around that. The fact that for so long, for the past 2 years or something, we have been hearing more and more rhetoric about the fact that gay people are groomers, the fact that they are essentially just a bunch of degenerates who are trying to groom kids into being gay. We all know the narrative, but of course, when you push this narrative, there are going to be some people who, because of the way that the media has been describing gay people for the past 2 years, well, they're going to take matters into their own hands. And then something like this happens. It's just, left 5 people dead. I'm sorry about that. I got the specifics wrong. I don't have much else to say beyond that. Hello, Simeon. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I hope DC is treating you wonderfully. But this is unfortunately a kind of predictable outcome of recent rhetoric against gay people. Because one of the things is when you dehumanize, I've heard some people say 5 people dead and some say 7. Say hi to Brandon. Hi, Brandon. Some people say 5 people dead and some say 7. Okay. I don't know for sure the specifics. This is also an older article, so you could be right, Serena, that it's possible that some of the 25 people that were injured in the shooting could have died as well. So, yeah. like I was saying, we have gone over a lot of very explicitly homophobic rhetoric that has come out of the right lately, mostly with the whole groomer thing. Basically, anything gay is somehow grooming kids. And, well, one of the best ways to dehumanize somebody is say that they're just constantly grooming kids. Because when you say that they're all like serial groomers who are all just trying to, I don't know, um, just indoctrinate kids, people are gonna do this. I I don't know what else to say beyond that. It's just the rhetoric has gotten so bad. Um, the the push systemically too, as we've seen in places like Florida and Texas, um, have brought people to this point. You know what I mean? I mean, like with Marjorie Taylor Greene, like essentially almost blatantly calling to arms against queer folk. I believe it was trans. Like I think she like said that people need arms to defend themselves against groomers, and when she says that, she obviously means queer people. I don't know the exact quote, but I do believe it's something along that lines. If someone could fact check me on that, say that I'm wrong, that'd be great. Um, yeah, this is just really sad. Um, the pushback from the right as well has been pretty disgusting. People like Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, all these kind of right wing people um, have been pushing the fact that they're like, oh, well, here, I think Sean might have sent something into the Discord if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. I'm not going to let. I'm not going to go through all the Discord messages on stream. Let me see if I believe he might have earlier on. Shapiro with another okay, let me see here. What day did you send that in there? Duh, I might need to control F this. Let's do. Ah, here we go. Found it. Thank you. Perfect. Here we go. So, this is what people like Ben Shapiro have been saying. The quest by the Democratic leadership and media to link a horrifically evil shooting at a Colorado gay club to anyone who doesn't support a progressive social agenda is ongoing and terrible for the country. It's a cynical game. Only one side plays, and it's trash. So, of course, people have been trying to deflect against that because the so-called progressive agenda is, of course, simply gay rights in general. There's no other way to put that. And because of that, they're trying to distance themselves in literally the like I feel like they're not even putting the effort to distance themselves from this because people like Ben Shapiro, they're saying that, hey, like you can't blame all conservatives for this. It's like, yeah, we're constantly pushing narratives against gay people, but it's like not our fault that they went out and shot people. This is a kind of it's a tactic with some historical precedent. When the Nazis were talking about the Jews, one of the ways they dehumanized them was to say that they're controlling the media, they're controlling all this kind of stuff, they're coming to destroy like the German race and all that. But one of the consequences of all this was, more anti-Semitic violence. And the Nazis would kind of distance themselves from it, like kind of say, oh, we weren't calling people to like, the violence is bad, but at the same time, like, at the end of the day, like, they're still doing this stuff. This is a kind of classic tactic by the far right in order to normalize this kind of violence. Because when you constantly dehumanize a specific group of people, when violence starts happening, it's like you can kind of condone the violence haphazardly and then kind of say, well, they brought it upon themselves at the end of the day. It's a tactic with a lot of historical precedent. And I remember seeing a couple of things. I can't remember from who exactly. I'm sure some of you probably saw it, but who said this? Essentially, like saying that like this shooting is really bad, but when you keep pushing this, woke agenda, like what do you expect? I think there was somebody that said something along those lines. Does anybody know who might have said that? Maybe we can go on to Ben Shapiro's thing. I feel like it might have been somewhere along Ben Shapiro. Or, how do I say it?
Well, folks, you've heard me talk about...
Shut up. Alrighty. Let me see. No, okay. So I don't know who said it, but it was something along those lines. I remember hearing it. I can't remember who said it. I'm trying to find something. So let's just scrap that. I don't want to say that without some solid evidence. But, yeah. It's been a lot of hateful rhetoric over the past few years, and it's gotten a lot worse. We've seen literal bills supporting this kind of culture war narrative. And the fact is, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of pushback from the right against it because they all embrace this fact. Most people on the right are going to be okay with this, especially like the big media figures that we keep talking about on the stream. They're okay with this at the end of the day. They don't care. They don't care. They think this is a good thing. Because they've been pushing the rhetoric that leads people to do stuff like this. It's a tragic thing. And at the end of the day, the people that push this really hateful rhetoric, I genuinely do think need to be deplatformed. I don't know another solution at the moment. Like, they need to be deplatformed. These social media companies, Twitter, though that's not going to happen anymore, YouTube, everyone needs to deplatform them. Because when you keep pushing really hateful rhetoric like this that leads to things like this, I really genuinely don't see another solution but to take them off of the platform. Because, it's just like people keep watching these videos, it keeps festering in people's heads, it keeps on spreading. It's like a virus. We need to kill it at its source and do it from there. Twitter accounts, like especially libs of TikTok, which is like just let's see if we can find libs of TikTok really quick. I don't know how much we've talked about libs of TikTok on this stream. What the heck? Where's libs of TikTok? I know I follow libs of TikTok. Here we go. Okay, here we go. I don't follow libs of TikTok. That's why I can't find them. So libs of TikTok is essentially just literally an anti-gay account. They just go and harass any queer person that's posting any sort of content. Sometimes they do with other like so-called liberal things, but that's really mostly what they focus on.
We're gonna go buy tampons.
Like, look at this. Who went viral this year for attempting to join a sorority is now leaving from Dylan. Yeah, so all they pretty much do is post like TikToks, videos of pretty much any queer person in an attempt to like shine them in a really negative light. Like bring their... How many followers do they have? 1.5 million followers. Just to bring attention to them, bring like the mob down on them essentially. Like look at this one. Who needs TOS? Exactly. Who needs TOS at that point? Received a follower, homeschool your kids. Like look at this. It's just a fucking gay flag. Yeah, look, this is all it is. Like I don't even know how to respond to this. There's nothing to respond to. We can say like, oh, this is like literally nothing. It's a fucking gay a gay flag. And a sign about, respect existence or expectors. Look, it's literally in the back of the class. Like, Vanson, welcome to the stream. Good to see you, buddy. I genuinely don't know what to say. There's nothing to say about this. There's nothing intelligent. There's no like grand how do I say it? Like analysis that I can have about it. Yes, indeed, Vanson's here. Everyone say hi to Vanson. Take a sec. Say hi, Vanson. There's literally nothing else I can add to this. It's literally just an account to like hate on gay people. What if they're offended because they sing the gay Pledge of Allegiance with the gay flag? You know, the Pledge of Allegiance. That's so true. You're right. I didn't think about it from their perspective. You're so right, Bestie. You're so right. Never mind. You're absolutely correct. Hi, homie. I don't know who you are, but I miss you too. That's Shawnee P. That's Caretaker Wanted. Sean Patrick Stone. Yes, they're all singing the Pledge of Allegiance in the gay version of it. Um, yes, indeed. Um, yeah, that is literally all this account is. One person's alternate identifies. Yeah, it's just it's just a queer hate account. There's no other way of putting it. Uh, that's all. There's no, like I said, there's nothing intelligent I can add to this besides that they're literally just a hate account that essentially just takes videos off the internet and makes fun of them for their 1.5 million followers to see, saying stuff like, yep, like drag queen at story hour nonprofit receives tax dollars to go into public schools to teach kids about drag, admits that they use drag to introduce kids to queerness. Our taxes are being used to sexualize and confuse our kids. Like, look at this video. This is
Drag.
it's someone in drag.
We're a nonprofit called Drag Queen Story Hour. Drag Queen Story Hour uses
Wait,
drag
isn't this a...
to promote literacy, teach about queer lives, and spark kids' imagination.
First off, before we get into anything, every nonprofit earns tax dollars. I'm almost 100% certain. Every nonprofit gets tax dollars. Churches, by the way, don't have to pay taxes in the first place. So like they are essentially subsidized by tax dollars because we don't get any money from them. Yeah, literally this is all it is. Our tax dollars are going to sexualize and confuse our kids. Like,
right-wing politicians.
this is nothing. This is fucking nothing. What the hell do you mean to sexualize and confuse our kids? But that's always been the narrative with these types of people. That anything queer is out there to sexualize and confuse your kids. And they're doing it with like, our tax dollars are going to like sexualize our kids or whatever. But it's like, I don't find a problem with introducing kids to queerness. I never really have. It's like gay people exist. I'm okay with them being introduced to that. Like that way they don't end up being like hateful in the future. I found out that gay people exist at a relatively young age. Oi, Vance is here? No way. Yes, sirree. Vance and Chan is here. Yeah, there's just nothing. I really don't have a problem with it. But yeah, accounts like Libs of TikTok especially is literally just explicitly hate. That's all they exist for. All they exist for is to spread hate, and accounts like this are responsible for leading people to do what they did. Because I mean, when you use rhetoric like our taxes are being used to sexualize and confuse our kids, it's like, sorry, I couldn't hang out. We don't forgive you for that, Sean.
Spark kids' imagination.
Yeah, you're essentially putting in the rhetoric for this kind of stuff to happen. It's getting really, really bad. Right now, queer people are being targeted, just a lot. By the right. I don't know exactly why they're the main target at the moment. But yeah, it's just this is who the right's focusing on to get everyone mad at. Thanks, Ollie, but not you, Evan. That's okay, Ollie. Sorry, Sean. So yeah, great stuff. There we go. I just wish I had more to say about this. This is literally all Libs of TikTok lives for, is to spread hate. All against queer people. Because right now they can just use the excuse that, like, I guess queer people are degenerates and all that kind of stuff that they're spreading, you know, the kind of what's your opinion on this guy, Evan Shawnee P? He loves me. He loves me, Ollie. Don't you worry. Um, he's a noob. Oh, Sean, don't make me put you on timeout. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I don't have anything else to add. Just things are getting pretty bad when it comes to that. When it comes especially to rhetoric being used, people are getting more and more explicitly grooming. Right now I want to watch a Ben Shapiro video that I just saw with you guys about the legacy media twists the narrative. I'm pretty sure this is about the shooting. Ben Shapiro, historically, at least from my experience, has been a little bit better at not being super mask off when it comes to his just extreme hatred towards we came for the inside scoop. One day you guys will get an inside scoop. One day I promise. You guys will get your inside scoop that you guys have been begging for. It will be on the last stream, the day that I will be streaming when the world is ending, when climate change has gotten to the point that life is unsustainable on Earth. I will do my last stream, and that is when you guys will get the inside scoop. So yeah. Anyway, let's get into this, shall we?
Well, the
Let's see here.
narrative was fully formed. Fully
What
formed.
a Debbie Downer.
Literally the moment that there was a shooting at a gay nightclub in Colorado Springs, Colorado, the entire legacy media infrastructure, every major Democrat in America decided this was the fault of libs of TikTok and Tucker Carlson and Matt Walsh, Chris Rufo, and me, and any other American who did not like Drag Queen Story Hour or who was
Yeah, any other American who just constantly pushed against like any gay rights historically. Most of these people hated the Evan never has any good news. He's got your eyebrow game. He's got your eyebrow game, Evan. Ben Shapiro does have kind of nice eyebrows. I will have to say, the guy does have relatively nice eyebrows. He's relatively well kept. Blah 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 blah. Yes, I will give him that. I will, however, give him absolutely nothing else.
was not in favor of same-sex marriage, or who believed that transing the children is a bad thing. It was all our fault. It was our fault.
Yeah, basically anybody who doesn't agree with, you know, just, I know he's a cutie. Aw. Yeah, just, I'm tripping over my own words. Let's just watch it.
It was your fault. If you believe that there's anything wrong with any of those things, then it is your fault if a deranged individual goes to a gay nightclub and shoots a bunch of people. Now, the narrative was crap from the beginning. It's crap because unless you are inciting violence.
I also like how he has not even given us the, I don't agree with, like, obviously this was a bad thing. What are you drinking? Water at the moment. I know. I'm only drinking water. Tears, indeed, your tears, Sean, because you keep crying that I won't stream.
Violence, actively calling for people to do violence to other human beings, you're not responsible for the violence that they do. This has been the rule in free speech for literally ever. And yet, the left...
This is not true. If you continuously dehumanize someone and call them like a threat to everything, and then people start doing violence on your behalf, even though you've gone every step except to explicit, unlikely, oh shut up, except to explicitly call for violence, yeah. It's pretty bad. Anyway, let's keep watching.
Jumped out in front of the story before they even bothered to wait for any facts at all, and said that essentially the uptick in sentiment against the transing of the children was responsible for a mass shooting at a gay nightclub. Because this is the game that they always play. It doesn't matter whether the person was deranged. It doesn't matter if the person had a long history of red flags that were ignored by police. It doesn't matter whether the square peg fits in the round hole or not. The narrative is always and forever, my political opponents are responsible for murder, therefore there must be a censorship regime.
Well, but the thing is, with this one in particular, like, Matt Walsh is explicit. Matt Walsh is really, really bad. Matt Walsh is pretty explicitly anti-anything gay. He's explicitly anti-gay marriage. He recently was arguing against gay marriage. We should have had a Shapiro in speech and debate. We could have all debated Ben Shapiro. You're so right, Sean. Matt Walsh recently went on Joe Rogan and he explicitly argued against gay marriage. He explicitly was, fighting back against the idea of it, that it's bad and everything. Can we please have the scoop now? No, Wally. Anyway, yeah, just not good stuff overall. Yeah, these people are responsible for what happens. They keep spreading the rhetoric. They keep spreading extremely hateful rhetoric. They keep essentially saying that all the drag queens, all the trans folk, all the gay folk are all coming in. They're all coming in to groom our kids and everything. They're all pedophiles. That's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to get your kids to do all this stuff. Yeah, that might lead people to violence at the end of the day.
Was the narrative. Now, all they had to do was wait for the facts. And it's important to remember this. This shooting did not happen all that long ago. The shooting happened just days ago. All the members of the media had to do was wait for the facts, which is, in fact, their job. Now, I understand we have a media infrastructure that rewards people who are first and wrong rather than rewarding people who wait and are right. That is just how our media infrastructure generally works now. If you jump on a story and it turns out that you're wrong 90% of the time, but 10% of the time
Facts over feelings.
right, we remember the 10% of the time that you're right, and we forget the 90% of the time you're wrong because you were first, and that's the really important thing. And so there really is no disincentive for members of the media to create fully formed narratives completely in coincidence with democratic priorities, and then to just run those out there. Because after all, if they're wrong, we'll just memory hole it. Like 3 months from now, nobody's going to remember that the media made a complete mockery of themselves. Nobody's going to remember that all the media had to do was wait for a few days. Now, what am I talking about here? What I'm talking about here is the news this morning that the Colorado club shooting suspect is non-binary according to his attorneys. Poof goes the narrative. It's gone. Watch how fast this story gets memory hold now.
Hold on.
According to Axios.com, the public defenders for the suspect in the mass shooting at a Colorado Springs LGBTQ nightclub said in a Tuesday night court filing obtained.
Let's see. I'm going to fact check this myself. I don't think this really disproves anything either, just because they're non-binary. I see, like, 0, wait, this is like one off of Axios. Public defenders for the suspect in the mass shooting, at Colorado Springs, LGBTQ nightclub says, filing pain on repeat quarter. The client is non-binary and uses they, them pronouns. X and hate crime charges. Okay. I don't think this necessarily disproves anything. But I also only see 2 articles on this. Suspect at the shooting. No. There is not enough evidence on this. I'm so sorry, guys. To definitively say one way or the other, but either way, I think Ben is right. I heard somewhere else that they said they were non-binary, but I don't know the source. Okay. And the shooter was non-binary. I do not think that disproves anything, however. You can still be non-binary and just absolutely hate gay people. I mean, at the end of the day, they chose specifically a gay nightclub. It doesn't matter because discrimination, even within LGBTQ spheres, you're absolutely correct there. You are absolutely correct there, so it doesn't change anything. Yeah, like at the end of the day, they chose a gay nightclub to go and shoot up. Like that's not a coincidence at the end of the day. This doesn't disprove anything.
By a New York Times reporter, their client is non-binary and uses they-them pronouns, and the media are confused and bewildered and puzzled because, after all, this throws a wrench into all of their greatest hopes and desires regarding the narrative. Now remember, from the very beginning, it was perfectly obvious.
Also, if they were non-binary, like, okay. Yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like I said, It doesn't matter. Like, cool, they're gonna use they them pronouns in prison because they just shot up a bunch of people. Um, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I just wanted to fact check it. But it seems like Ben Shapiro is right, so yeah.
Mass shooting, which is deranged activity, but also because we knew within hours that this person had been arrested last year for threatening his mother with a gun and threatened to blow her up with a homemade bomb before the police arrested him and then didn't take away his guns. So that would be pretty good evidence of being a deranged violent individual who should have been on the police radar.
So here is two things that can be true at once. One thing, they can be a deranged, violent individual. That is true as well. Sorry, they can be a deranged, violent individual. They probably are. Most people who do this stuff are not mentally sound at the end of the day. Two, they can also be non-binary. Non-binary people can be extremely homophobic as well. And non-binary people can also shoot places up. This, like Simeon said, this literally changes nothing. It doesn't change the fact that rhetoric was one of the main causes. And like, let's see if we can find anything. Any of the shooters, has the shooter said anything? Nightclub shooter. Let's see what we can find. Oh gosh, this is on Orlando. Let's see if we can find, has the shooter, I'm sure the shooter probably hasn't said anything, so this is probably a useless little endeavor that I'm doing. I just realized I watched Hassan react to this video. Oh, really? Okay, so you're obvious, so you already know what's going on.
Radar? Should it not? But we were told that didn't matter. There were full op-eds in the New York Times saying this was not about mental illness. This was not about deranged violence. This is about nothing except for the broad spectrum narrative that the right is evil and must be silenced, and we need to shut it down, shut it all down. We need to stop Elon Musk from opening up Twitter to evil, nefarious folk who disagree with us. We need to make sure that everyone we disagree with...
So again, he's using very... sorry about that. He's using extremely heavily loaded language when all he means is, why are you going to silence the people that spread a lot of the hate that led to this kind of stuff? Because here's the thing, guys. First off, a lot of free speech laws do not apply to these private platforms. You know what I mean? You cannot be arrested for saying the N-word, but you can be deplatformed for saying the N-word. That there's no really arguing with that. That's not a violation of your free speech. It's just like if you act like that at a restaurant, the restaurant's going to kick you out. That's just kind of how sometimes social decorum works. Saying that, however, where was I going with this? So sorry about that, guys. Yeah, just saying that, however, sometimes I feel like it is absolutely necessary to, how do I say it? Deplatform people that are spreading this kind of messages. If Hitler was alive, you know, in the age of Twitter, I would have hoped that Hitler would have been deplatformed. I think that would have been a appropriate deplatforming. Sometimes we have to deplatform people. Sometimes they're just breaking all the TOS. Sometimes they're doing all this kind of stuff. So they get deplatformed. I think TOS should have explicit rules against hate speech. Because, well, you don't want that on the platform. That leaves a toxic environment for the platform. So yeah, I do think things like libs of TikTok should be off of Twitter, just completely deplatformed. Elon would let Hitler have an account. Oh, absolutely he would. Yeah, absolutely they would. Elon would be buddy-buddy with them, say that it was the woke scolds that deplatformed Twitter. I mean, he literally let an explicit anti-Semite, Kanye West, go back on. I'm not saying that they're equal by any means, but like, he's obviously okay buddy up with very hateful people.
Demonetized. We have to make sure that the language of the right is never heard again, because that's the only way to assure that gay people don't just get randomly shot at a nightclub. That was the narrative, and they ran with it, and boy did they run with it. It has been non-stop blanket narrative coverage since the shooting. And now it turns out that the suspect is saying that he is non-binary. And this puts the media in a huge pickle. It puts...
So, throughout this whole video, Ben has not condemned the shooting, which I'm sure he would if you asked him. But at the end of the day, the conservative reaction to what happened has been, why are you guys blaming us? Like, all you got, like, why are you guys blaming us for this? Like, we have been explicitly anti-gay for the past couple years, but like, why are you guys blaming us for this? It's just, yeah, that's been the reaction. It's nothing about the shooting itself. It's been, don't blame us, guys. Don't blame us. Like, we didn't have anything to do with this.
The media in a pickle for a couple reasons. One, it turns out the narrative is not quite as simple as they thought it was. Two, they now cannot claim that this person is mentally ill or deranged because, after all, they've created a system in which you declaring that you are a non-binary human, a thing that does not exist, we are all members of biological sexes, that you declaring that you are non-binary, it actually makes you more sane. That in some ways, you saying that you are non-binary, what that is...
I don't know what the point of this second tangent is. I have no idea what the point of this is. Again, the shooter being non-binary has nothing to do with any of this. It's just like, okay, they still did the thing at the end of the day. I don't know I have literally heard nobody say in the media that the shooter is more sane because they are non-binary. I've not heard any of that within the media. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I literally have no idea what the fuck this person is talking about.
You're not allowed to doubt anything. What the shooter says now must be taken as absolute, verifiable truth. You have to take at face value this person saying that he is a they, them. You must. Because after all, you must respect the pronouns. They've created this pathetic logical box for themselves. Now, for the rest of us who live in the normal world, it's always a very clear story. Deranged individual goes and does something evil. Boom, end of story. And then, when the person goes to prison and suggests that he is a member of a they-them species that does not exist, you say, oh, well, because this person obviously is a deranged individual.
I hope you guys know that I'm not responding to all this random stuff that Ben Shapiro is saying. Because, I mean, we've responded to it before. I'm not gonna keep, every time Ben Shapiro misgenders, I'm not gonna keep pausing it.
With mental illness, like that, okay, all fits the narrative. But now, the left is confused, and they're bewildered, and they're puzzled, and they don't know what to do.
No one is. No one is. Literally, everyone's like, okay, you still did this. Nobody is confused. No, and you want to know how I do know that they're confused? Because when I looked it up to fact check it, I got 2 articles about it. Literally 2 articles about it. So really, I'm so sorry. So really, nobody's confused. Nobody's confused. Everyone's still condemning what happened. There is literally 0 confused people on this. Only Ben Shapiro is confused because at the end of the day, he's a fucking idiot.
And so some of the ways they've been reacting, quite fascinating. So Ben Collins, who's just the worst actor in all of this, he is the senior reporter at NBC News, who's blamed literally the entire right for everything that has happened right here. He's appeared on television basically saying that if you oppose Drag Queen Story Hour, which in fact is a wonderful, wonderful thing, he said this on TV, that Drag Queen Story Hour is wonderful. It's where little kids get to meet drag queens. Why would that possibly be? Why would you oppose that? Why would that be a bad thing? Well,
yeah, why
also
would you?
On your TV yesterday was Ben Collins suggesting that the Nazis are coming. That really what this is about, it's the evil people at Breitbart who are calling for death upon gay, lesbian, trans people. He can't provide any evidence that that's happening, but, you know, it's really, the Nazis are coming, guys. And you know, the Nazis...
You know, the Nazis didn't explicitly call for deaths literally until the end. Maybe they did a little bit before, but the Nazis weren't that explicit for violence until, like, the very end. The final solution, you know, the Holocaust and everything, did not happen until, like, towards the end of the war. I think, like, 42 or something it started. Yeah, they weren't explicitly pro-violence for a pretty long time, especially in their, even beyond the Holocaust, even in their rise to power, it wasn't for a pretty good long while. It wasn't until they had, like, firm control over Germany that they got really explicit with calls to violence, with, like, oh geez, I need to brush up on my history, but yeah, during the Nazis' rise to power, they weren't calling on violence like crazy. They couldn't call on violence like crazy, or else they would probably be arrested. If I'm wrong on this, please someone tell me. This is just my remembering of history. But yeah, of course, these, people like Ben Shapiro, people like Matt Walsh, PragerU, everyone that keeps spreading this type of rhetoric is not going to explicitly call for violence because they can't. They get deplatformed like that. They might even get arrested. Like, let's be real here. You might get arrested for something like that. They're not going to be that explicit yet. But they will keep spreading rhetoric like, they're constantly grooming your kids, that they're making the country weaker, like in the case of people like Tucker Carlson, that they're trying to destroy the traditional family, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they dehumanize gay people to the point where violence like this is kind of accepted within the right. And their only reaction is, don't blame this on me, guys. Don't blame this on me, guys. The whole media is just blaming this on us at this point.
They really did.
Like, at the end of the even if you are on the right, all you have to do is like condemn the actions of the shooter and move on. You know what I mean? Like, but no, they have to start projecting the fact that they did have a thing to do with this by constantly trying to push the blame anywhere else but themselves.
Didn't like gender non-binary people. So if you say that there is no such thing as a non-binary gender, if you say that boys are boys and girls are girls, basically you're a Nazi. And because you're a Nazi, people are shooting up gay nightclubs. This is Ben Collins yesterday.
There is a long history of this. I talked to this woman named Jennifer Merciesa, who's a rhetoric professor at Texas A&M. And she was telling me about this thing called hate objects that come up in, pre-fascist governments, where they take people they describe as degenerates, right? And before Nazi Germany, it was in fact gay people who played with, gender conformity. And they say they are contributing to the downfall of society. They are the reason that, things cost more, that the crops aren't coming up, right?
This is literally true. Everything he's saying is true.
In the past. It's very dark.
Okay, this pathetic person, he's a terrible reporter. And again, he just blanketed himself on TV, talking about how the right was to blame for the shooting. It was Nazi Germany, it was Breitbart, it was Tucker Carlson, it was all of them. Well, this morning he issues a couple of updates on the Colorado Springs story. Oh, just a few updates, it was last night.
Wait, what was the point of that little clip? Because literally everything that person said was correct, like completely historically accurate. The Nazis, fascists need a hate object. For the Nazis, it was the Jews. They did talk about queer people too, but they said that the Jews were like, I don't know, implanting queer people everywhere. But the Nazis had hate objects. Queer people were part of the Holocaust as well. It was just overall, fascists need a hate object because they need something to justify their rise to power. They need something to kind of like point the people's hatred towards. Things that they think are degenerate, things that they think, are destroying society. They blame all of society's ills on a group of people. And we've seen this happen as well. We've seen things like, oh, everything's costing more, but instead, like, Joe Biden's talking about like Pride Month and all that kind of stuff when they literally have nothing to do with one another. Fascists need a hate object. They need something to direct people's hatred towards. This is why fascism is always based around some sort of bigotry when other authoritarian regimes just aren't. Fascism is really defined by that hate object, by the kind of getting everyone in the country. Joe Biden inflated the price of my turkey. So true, because he spoke out against homophobia. That was actually why your turkey cost so much. So you can thank Joe Biden for that. I don't know what else to say, to be honest. That is kind of how fascist governments work. That's constantly how these people rise to power. They need a hate object. They need something to direct the people's hatred towards. For the Nazis, it was the Jews. Right now, for conservatives, it's queer people. That is their hate object. That is who they're directing society's ills towards. That the destruction of the traditional family, the destruction of our culture is because of gay people. That gay people are infiltrating media everywhere. That they're trying to push their agenda, trying to how do I say it? Trying to groom kids. Right now, gay people are the fascists' hate object. Now, conservatives hate everybody. That isn't straight and white. At the end of the day, and a guy. Don't forget about that. Conservatives hate anybody like that. But their main focus right now, the one that they can essentially just get away with right now, are queer people. They can't be super explicitly racist. They can't be super explicitly sexist, because society has progressed to the point where those things are just, racism and sexism are a lot more taboo, and you can't be as explicit with it anymore. Don't get me wrong, they still use dog whistles all the fucking time. They're still just as racist and just as sexist. They just can't be as explicit with it because most people just aren't going to be on board with that. But a very recent thing is homophobia. I mean, it wasn't until 2015 that everywhere across the United States, gay people could marry each other. Just recently, actually, a federal bill to legalize gay marriage was just passed. So, yay on that. Don't forget, there's technically not an equal rights amendment too. Ben doesn't think him and Matt are to blame for influencing the shooter when all they do is spread their hate. Yeah, exactly. All people like Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh do is constantly spread their hateful rhetoric. That is literally what they do. I mean, Jesus Christ. When was the last time Ben Shapiro actually talked about politics, like policy within politics? It's not. It's all culture war shit. See, we got this, some, whatever this is. If you don't cheer during, look, here we have the Drag Queen Story Hour, the one that we're watching right now. Someone is getting fired for this. Yep, we got him responding to woke TikToks, which are constantly the ones that do the best. Yeah, it's all culture war stuff. It's barely any politics. Do not take your kids to see this Disney movie. Yeah. We got this one, marriage is between a man and a woman. It's just explicit homophobia. And it's because they can get away with it right now. Like I said, guys, the push against homophobia, the push for more gay rights is historically, it's not a relatively recent thing. It's been going on for decades, going on for centuries, don't get me wrong, but mainstream is what I mean. It's not until mainstream. Strange Worlds was so gay I couldn't watch it. I know you literally couldn't watch it. It was just too blindingly gay. I couldn't watch it. It burned my eyes. You had to walk out. Yeah, it's, at the end of the day, this is what they can get away with. This is their hate object at the moment, is gay people. Literally everything he said was correct. Ben Shapiro couldn't even retort against it.
Is a deranged individual with mental illness. Like that, okay, all fits in there. But now,
here's where we were.
Right? We have been through this in the past. It's very dark.
Okay, this pathetic person, he's a terrible reporter. And again, he just blanketed himself on TV, talking about how the right was to blame for the shooting. It was Nazi Germany, it was Breitbart, it was Tucker Carlson, it was all of them. Well, this morning he issues a couple of updates on the Colorado Springs story. Oh, just a few updates, it was last night. A few updates. The suspect is requesting to go by they, them, according to court docs provided to the New York Times. The Colorado suspect was 15 when they requested a name change. So first of all, I love that the entire media has to immediately shift mode and respect the pronouns of a mass murderer. There are those of us who are like, no, that's a dude. And you guys are like, no, we gotta respect his pronouns.
Yeah, listen, all I see are rainbows. That's all I agreed. All I saw were rainbows. It was just so blindingly gay. I will say we probably, everyone should respect pronouns, even of terrible people. At the end of the day, just respect, it's fine. Yeah.
We got him. I mean, sure, he just murdered 5 gay people and injured another 25 people, but the important thing, he's a they. This person's harassment by edgelords online was thoroughly documented on the hate site Encyclopedia Dramatica, which outlined a harassment campaign repeatedly calling this person a pedophile. They accrued some of those posts and mocked the person's grandmother's GoFundMe to send the person to Japan. I'm studiously avoiding saying the name of the shooter because this is something we do on the show to prevent mass shootings, something no one in the media apparently will do. We on this show, and over at our site, over at Daily Wire, we do not mention the names of mass shooters because it gives them exactly the sort of notoriety and glory they're looking for. No one in the mass legacy media will do this. No one. It's amazing. And then they'll blame us, obviously. Encyclopedia Dramatica, the hate site that compiled years of records of online bullying of the Colorado Springs suspect.
You're absolutely right, Serena. It's not a gatekeeping thing. It's just respect, like, I mean, at the end of the day, just respect the gender identity. You can still lock them up at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
So now, the shooter, he's sympathetic to. Now the shooter had a rough childhood. Everybody was bullying this non-binary person, and that's probably why. So, as it turns out, according to Ben Collins, the right is to blame because this person was a disciple of the right. With no evidence, by the way, none. I mean, the media tried to trot out not the relevant fact that this person was a psychologically disturbed human being with violent tendencies. They didn't care about that. They cared that his grandfather was a Republican politician in California or something, which is an amazing way to journalism. I mean, that's just high-level journalisming. Well,
wait,
person
I need to see what this person...
Right, when they realized that the shooter had an entry for years, adding that this person, quote, shot up a gay bar because he was tired of all the harassment. Okay, so the narrative is now shifting from Ben Collins in real time. So now...
Who was spreading this,
and then they'll blame us, obviously.
Who was saying this?
Encyclopedia Dramatica, the hate site that compiled years of records of online bullying of the Colorado Springs suspect, updated the page when they realized that the shooter had an entry for years, adding that this person, quote, shot up a gay bar because he was tired of all the harassment. Okay, so the narrative is now shifting from Ben Collins in real time. So now, the shooter, he's sympathetic to. Now the shooter had a rough childhood. Everybody was bullying this
Wait, but who was saying this?
Sort of notoriety and glory they're looking for. No one in the mass legacy media will do this. No one. It's amazing. And then they'll blame us, obviously. Encyclopedia Dramatica, the hate site that compiled years of records of online bullying of the Colorado Springs suspect, updated the page when they realized that the shooter had an entry for years, adding that this person, quote, shot up a gay bar because he was tired of all...
Wait, I'm just trying to figure out who said this exactly. Who was saying... Hold on, let's see if we can find... Let me see if I can find anything on this, on the history. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, so the mother was detained. Oh, great. This is all fucking... I can't look at this article. Sorry, guy. I'm trying to see exactly what Ben's talking about when it comes to this. Like, who was saying that this person... let me see here. Here's an article about the mother being detained. Oops. Did I just accidentally... Oh, great. Let's see here. Here we are. Mother of Club Q suspect detained after mass shooting at Colorado Springs, faces misdemeanor petty offense. The mother of the person suspected of mass shooting, Colorado Springs, was detained. Colorado Springs police detained ticketed Laura Vopel around 3:30 a.m. on suspicion of resisting arrest and disorder of contact for unreasonable noise. Records. Injured. Oh, so this has nothing to do with it. Okay. Guess we'll just keep watching.
Okay.
Sorry, I should tell you guys what I'm thinking. Because what Ben's saying is that now they're pushing the narrative that the shooter was bullied as a kid, and that they that led them to shoot up the nightclub. But I haven't seen anything like that. But
okay, so the narrative is now shifting from Ben Collins in real time. So now the shooter, he's sympathetic to. Now the shooter had a rough childhood. Everybody was bullying this non-binary person, and that's probably why. So, as it turns out, according to Ben Collins, the right is to blame because this person was a disciple of the right. With no evidence, by the way, none. I mean, the media tried to trot out not the relevant fact that this person was a psychologically disturbed human being with violent tendencies. They didn't care about that. They cared that his grandfather was a Republican politician in California or something, which is an amazing way to journalism.
I'm so confused on what exactly Ben's trying to say here. Like, what's the connection between all these points that he's making? I'm so confused right now. I genuinely don't know what Ben's trying to say right here. I feel like he's just spitting garbage at the moment. I don't know what he's trying to say.
Journalism. Well, we don't know anything about this person, but you know what his grandfather was. What?
Explaining isn't excusing. Yeah, it's not.
Excuse me, my grandfather one grandfather ran a clothing store and one advised people on speech writing at AT&T. What does that have to do with anything? But apparently that was the relevant fact. The relevant fact is that his granddad wore a MAGA hat one time, not that he was a psychologically disturbed individual arrested by the cops last year. And the other relevant fact, of course, is that this person had to be a member of the right without any evidence whatsoever. No evidence. And then the evidence comes in that the person actually is non-binary, because this is what the person now claims, and apparently has been claiming. And their response is, well, probably if they are non-binary, it's because of bullying. So it's still the right. So either this person was bullied by the right into shooting up a gay club, or the person was a disciple of the right, so shot up a gay club. Or maybe your narratives aren't so comfy cozy. Maybe they aren't so pat. And maybe you guys manufacture narratives because you want the outcome.
Okay, so I'm not even gonna pretend to understand the connections that Ben was trying to make there. If anybody understands what Ben's saying, I would be happy to hear your explanation, because I genuinely am confused right now. So there's a couple things that I want to say. Just because they're non-binary doesn't mean that, yeah, my brain hurts as well. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm pretty sure I didn't help that at all. So first off, even if the shooter was non-binary, that doesn't change a single thing. Doesn't change anything, actually. Doesn't retort anything. If the person was bullied for being non-binary, that led them to shoot up this nightclub, that still is, a lot of that blame is also to be put on the right, though, obviously it's not the complete blame at the end of the day, but I don't know what Ben was trying to say there towards the end. Anyway, yeah, I just don't understand how any of this excuses what Ben Shapiro has been trying to say for years and years, which is just bullying constantly gay people. That's what half of his channel at this point is towards, especially if we look at our old friend Matt Walsh. I'm just going to go through his YouTube channel really quick. This is literally all Matt Walsh is. Anti-beard bigot. Oh, this is just an ad. Disney's gayest movie of the year hilariously flops. This is literally all this is culture war stuff. This is all Matt Walsh does. Look, we got some gay stuff here, got some gay stuff here. Everything in the universe is queer, got some gay stuff here. Yeah, this is what Matt Walsh lives for. Let's see if we can find that. I'm trying to get more information on this. What the hell is this? Let's see here. Here we have an article by The Nation. Don't know about the Club Q massacre and the new culture of lynching. Homophobic violence is fueled by extreme far right's victim blaming. Let's see here. When do we get to that? On November 19th, gunman, the alleged shooter, Anderson Lee, came from a homophobic background. After Aldrich arrests his father, Aaron Brink told a reporter from CBS, they started telling me about the incident. A shooting involved multiple people. And when I go out to I found out it's a gay bar. I said, God, is he gay? I got scared. Shit, is he gay? And he's not gay. So I said, phew. Wait, this is what his dad said? Okay, so if I'm reading this article correctly, it abandoned the customary calls. The alleged shooter, Anderson Lee Aldrich, came from a homophobic background. After Aldrich's arrest, after the shooting, his father, Aaron Brink, told a reporter from CBS, their father, they started telling me about the incident. A shooting involved multiple people, And then I go out to find out it's a gay bar, I said. God is, yeah. So this was their father's reaction, so that's great. Brink might be dismissed as an isolated bigot, but his scorn for the victims was echoed by many prominent figures on the right. Jenna Ellis, a lawyer who had served as advisor to Republican politicians Donald Trump and Doug Matteo, issued a statement saying that the 5 people killed in the nightclub that night, there is no evidence at all that they were Christians. Assuming they have knocked up to the truth and affirmed Christ as Lord of life, they are now reaping the consequences of having eternal damnation. Yeah, there we go. We got some not at all hate from the right. Remember, guys, the right has absolutely nothing with what the shooter did, absolutely nothing with what they had to do. Matt Walsh, a host of the Daily Wire, suggested that the alleged problem of the children attending drag shows was the root cause. According to the left, the drag queen child combination has become dangerous. Walsh claims they say it's a lightning rod for violent backlash, he added, but even by their version of events, it has caused this much chaos and violence. Why do you insist on continuing to do it if, according to you, it's like putting people's lives at risk? If the effort to have men cross-dress in front of children is putting people's lives at risk, why are you still doing it? Is it that important to you? So yeah. Anyway, so that is the reaction to the nightclub shooting. Yeah, it's pretty obvious that the right has a bunch of stuff to do with it. The fact that the shooter is non-binary literally doesn't matter. It has zero. It doesn't even matter. It literally does not matter. There's no putting. There's no getting around that. Looks like yeah, fun stuff. Fun stuff. I have nothing else to say about that. It's just really, it's really bad right now, guys. I really can't emphasize that enough. The fact that this kind of rhetoric is being spread so openly at the moment, it's just Shawnee P is ready for battle. True that. Shawnee P is absolute. Wait a second. I am so sorry. I am absolutely so sorry. I had it on top chat instead of live chat. I'm so sorry about that, guys. So the father is a terrible person, which could have a huge factor in the shooter's decision to open fire in the gay nightclub. Sit down, Shapiro. Yeah, literally. Like, the father obviously is a god-awful person. Ben Shapiro is trying to find any reason not to blame what happened on rhetoric coming from the right. And there's just no good reason at the end of the day. I was going to ask when the stream started, but I didn't want to assume. That makes sense. Okay. I see. Was I not seeing some of the chats you guys were sending? I'm so sorry about that. No. Always ask if I have it on live chat, because top chat doesn't show me all of your guys' chats for some reason. Anyway. Yeah, just I don't even know what to say anymore. Yeah, I despise people like Matt Walsh. I genuinely. We were silenced by Big Tech Evans News. So true. No, I was gonna ask because I assumed you didn't check. No, that's completely okay because I did not check. I did not. I just kind of went straight into it. But yeah. I have nothing else to say on this matter, to be honest. I think Matt Walsh is genuinely the worst at the moment. Matt Walsh seems to go out of his way to spread this type of rhetoric as much as he possibly can. I genuinely do think Matt Walsh is the worst at the moment. Don't get me wrong. Pretty much everyone on the right now is just pretty bad. But I do think Matt Walsh is the worst right now. Everything he does is about this issue, about the culture war, anything to do with gay people. That is all he does these days. And it's blown him up. Absolutely, like everything right now is how do I say, everything he does has been blowing up recently. It's just really bad. So, I feel like I have gone over enough of the ways in which, we just reacted to Ben Shapiro. Hate that person with a burning passion. So, you know what? Let's watch this video right here, because I saw Strange World, guys. I didn't like it personally. Didn't think it was the worst thing in the world, but it was also very mid. Very just a mediocre movie altogether. Anyway.
All right. Daily Wire has this report. Disney's latest agenda-pushing project is off to a brutal start at the box office.
Oh, nice. So the only news he's using is from the Daily Wire. Animated gay teen romance film is woke Disney's latest box office bomb.
Strange World, an animated film featuring a gay teen romance, opened Wednesday with a poor $4.2 million in ticket sales and is projected to bring in as little as $21 million over what should be a strong holiday weekend. The film, which pushes sexual orientation and climate agendas, is on track to be Disney's latest over-woke nightmare. In fact, from what I've read, they're looking at...
I like the narrative. As the Discord said, we need more 2D animation films. We really do. So, guys, so here's my review of Strange World. It was gay. I will have to say, there were crazy stuff. Terrifying. Grab your hearts. Grab whatever you can. Grab your cross. It did have gay people in it. But it was also just a very mid film overall. Like, it wasn't like bad by any means, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. I came out of it, I was like, it was fine. It was just forgettable. Like, I can't tell you a lot of the stuff that happened in it. Like, even if you were to ask me, like, oh, Evan, what happened here? And I don't know any of the two characters' names. The pacing was kind of, like, the characters are bland. It was just a very mediocre film altogether. It wasn't a bad movie, but it definitely wasn't a good movie by any means. It was just kind of there. And you know what? That's fine. I've seen people that have enjoyed it, and you know what? Good for them. To me, it was just a mediocre film altogether. So I think that's one reason why it's bombing. I'm sure you can also find it on Disney Plus. So it's like, why would you go to the movies if you can watch it on Disney Plus? And also, I literally did not know this movie existed until I went to go see it. There was no advertising that I saw. I just learned it existed when I went to go see it. So, like, no advertising. You can probably watch it on Disney Plus. I don't know for sure. And just an overall kind of weak movie altogether. Like, the characters weren't very strong. It did have an environmental message, but it was kind of shoehorned in there, to be honest. Because it was like, do you guys care if I spoil it? Does anyone here want to watch the film? Anyone here care if I spoil it? It's on Disney. It is on Disney Plus. So yeah, of course it's not going to make money. It's going to make money on Disney Plus. Like, of course it's not going to make money. Spoil it. You guys don't care? Spill the tea. Okay. So here's what happens. We need paint for it. So first, what happens is there's a couple characters in it. There's a dad. And he's an adventurer type, right? He likes to go on adventures. He has this little adventurer's cap. See, that's what he looks like. He looks much more buff. Let me see, actually. Let's see. Can I get something Strange World? Images. Can I see? Aha. Here we have, all right, Strange World. Let's look at this. Look, here we got an image. This guy right here, see him? He's the adventurer dad. This is the son. This is his son. And what happens is at the beginning of the movie, they're trying to get over this mountain, and the dad, who's an absolute Chad, just wants to climb the mountain and see what's on the other side of the mountain. And then there's the beta male over here in the back. I mean, look at it. Look how much more buff he is. Anyway, then there's a beta male over here, right? And the beta male finds a shiny plant, and the plant exudes electricity, right? So he's like, whoa, Dad, look, like we can save civilization with this. It's a plant that exudes sounds woke. It is so woke. Anyway, there's this plant that exudes electricity, Dad. And the dad's like, I don't care about no plant that exudes electricity. So the dad goes across the mountains, goes over the mountains. And anyway, a couple years later, it's about 20 years later, his son grows up into this guy right here, and he has a whole farm full of these electric plants. Can't get enough of them, right? Loves these electric plants. And these electric plants have little pods that generate power. Like, they use it to, hi Sean, I'm back. Welcome back, Ollie. Good to see ya. And all these pods, they have like these little, how do I say it? Like little electric beads in them that can power their cars, that can power everything, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, they're farming this electricity. And anyway, then for some reason the plants are all dying. Oh no. So they have to, go find out why all these plants are dying. And, they follow the source and end up in the center of the world or something. Like in the center of the world, there's like this whole crazy, strange world within the center of the world. That's where they find it. This is the gay son, by the way. This is the son that is gay. He has a crush on a man because he is gay. Anyway, so they all go journey to the center of the world to find the source of why these plants are dying, why their electric plants are dying. Because if the horror, I know, why their electric plants are dying, because it's like they don't have power without their electric plants. It's terrible. It's terrifying. Anyway, in the strange world, the son, this beta male right here, meets Chad guy right here, who got lost exploring his whole life. They end up reconnecting because they hated each other, right? So they end up reconnecting, getting their little father-son relationship blossoming and all that. But anyway, the twist at the end is that, how do I say it? The twist at the end is that the electric plants are killing the planet. The planet is alive, and that the electric plants are killing the planet. And if they keep using the electric plants, they're going to kill the planet. Because the electric, be proud, Evan, you actually do remember the movie. You're right, I do. Starting to think about it, I do remember it a little bit more. But the electric plants are like a living organism that is killing the planet from the inside, right? So they have to make the decision. Do they continue using the electric plants and kill the planet? Or do they, just stop, kill the electric plants? The electric plants are like a virus. So they do the right thing. They kill the electric plants. Did you guys realize that the electric plants are a metaphor for using like just our electric modes of our like fossil fuels and everything that are killing the planet? Very subtle reference. Took me a second to get it, I know. But yes, look how much gays, like, look, it's the gay mouse. Yeah, so that's what happened. That was the environmental little points of the movie. I thought it was a little shoehorned in because it wasn't said until the end that it was doing it. Like, it was never hinted at until the very end. It was kind of shoehorned in there at the very end. Rockefeller would be displeased. I know, Rockefeller was shaking his fist from his grave. It was kind of shoehorned in there at the end, but I do think, like, it's not the worst metaphor in the world. Like, I think it is kind of cool, that their plant is literally destroying the earth from the inside. Like, I think that is a little bit cool. I kind of like that idea. But, overall, it was just shoehorned in there at the end. The movie overall was kind of mid. I can't tell you any of the characters' traits, like, their personalities. I couldn't tell you. He's an adventurer. He's a farming dad. They have this one dog character. It overall, it was just kind of a boring movie. Like I said, though, it wasn't a bad movie. Like, it wasn't bad. It was just boring. Wasn't the greatest thing in the world. But you know, it did indeed have gay people. It did indeed have gay people and environmental lib things. It did indeed. Matt Walsh is correct there. He's not wrong there. Anyway, that's Strange World. It was fine. If you want to watch it, like, I don't think you'll necessarily hate it. Like, it's worth spending. You're not going to regret the fact that you spent an hour and a half watching the movie. You know what I mean? You're just going to be like, that was fine, and move on. Never think about it again, essentially. Unless, of course, you're me, and you have to react to Matt Walsh. Anyway, now that we've gotten done with Strange World, let's go and see what Matt Walsh has to say about it.
This in this movie goes even beyond the gay love story thing at the center of it. So here's some more details.
We need the Prager. We will watch the
Strange World tells the
Prager.
story of gay teen Ethan, voiced by
That's his name, Ethan.
Jabuki Young White. Jabuki, is that how it's pronounced? Who has the support of his loving biracial parents, Searcher and Meridian. The family rejects its fate.
So this is what it means. Like, anything, like literally anything considered woke, which means also interracial too. Interracial couples, too woke. You can't have that either. The gay people in it, too woke.
Fabled heritage as explorers to farm, but ends up pulled back into the family business to hunt for Searcher's father, Jaeger, who went missing when he was a child. The search is aided by their disabled dog and takes them to...
Oh yeah, the dog has 3 legs too, by the way. I guess that's woke too. Literally didn't go through my head that would be woke, but I guess 3-legged dog is also woke.
A fragile ecosystem. Ethan struggles to get past his shyness around his love interest, a boy named Diaza. So you've got the gay teen with the biracial parents. It's a story that centers around a climate change, and even the dog is disabled.
So again, the dog is very forget because it kind of just comes in every now and then. Like, I feel like it was supposed to be a fun side character, but there was also another fun side. I don't know. It was, like I said, it was kind of a mid movie overall. These are the reasons why I think the movie's a mid. Also, the love interest thing is just kind of brought up every now and then. Like, the fact that the kid has a love interest is just kind of brought up every now and then. It's not a central plot point in the slightest. Yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like
They even had to find a way.
it's one scene. It's literally one scene, maybe 2 actually.
As well. So we have full representation, all the boxes checked, everything is going for it as far as wokeness goes, right? As far as political correctness goes, every single box checked. But what they forgot is that you're telling a story, and the story itself has to be worthwhile. It has to be a good story.
So let's see if Matt Walsh watched the movie.
People just aren't interested in it, and so it's looking at losing $100 million. One of the biggest bombs for Disney ever in history. I love spending time during the holidays with my family.
Shut up.
And one of the ways is giving away quality cuts. I guess taste.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Good
Shut up.
order.
Shut
People
up.
on-
Shut up.
Part of the problem, I think, with it. Oh, is it?
I will say, I wonder if it was deliberate on Disney's part for their gay movie that they're not going to advertise it. I wonder if they were like, we're going to say we made a gay movie, but we're not going to show it to anyone because we're not ready to commit to it like that again. Like, all of Disney's gay representation has been very passive. It's just been kind of there. Like, they haven't made, like, a gay movie, except for maybe Luca, but that's not explicitly gay. That's, like, implied gay. So, yeah. Anyway, like I said, mid-movie, big brain moment. True. The only way for woke Disney to push its woke agenda by making nobody watch the movie. By not
gay,
advertising the movie.
Romantic comedy Bros. So coming on the heels of that, and that comes out, and nobody goes to see it. Okay, it earns, I think it was like $7
No.
at the box office opening weekend. That's not even a full ticket. Somehow just half of a ticket was sold. Just half of a ticket stub somebody bought, and that's all that it did in the box office its opening weekend. So that's a major bomb, a catastrophe. And then Disney tries something very similar, but targeting kids this time. And in terms of money lost, it's an even worse bomb. So this is very embarrassing for the left, and they're coming up with ways.
It's very embarrassing for the left that this movie that nobody heard of, including the left, by the way, the left was not backing Strange World. This was not our push for queer representation.
To excuse this, and of course, one of their go-to explanations is that, well, this shows there's homophobia. The fact that parents don't want to bring their
Nobody's saying this. Literally, nobody's saying
watch,
this.
You know, a story revolving around a romance between two teenage boys. That's homophobia. That's part of their.
This is, like I said, the romance between the two boys is not even a plot point. It's just kind of there, thrown in. The cynical part of me just wants to say that Disney did that for the sake of it, but I don't think it is. I think they were genuinely trying to be more diverse, but whatever.
Explanation. And the other one is that Disney, that actually Disney sabotaged the film by intentionally not promoting it. And that's
Dang,
why,
that's what I said.
If only everyone had been told about the gay teen cartoon romance.
No, literally, if they've been
the
told
theaters would have been
about
filled
it. That's all.
to the rafters.
I,
But
as a
people
Marxist, care
just
deeply
thinking
about
they're-
Disney's bottom line and passive progressivism. Thanks, Matt. So true. You're absolutely right. Matty played 4D chess. Exactly. He's just so much bigger brain than we are. No, literally. It's just that all the left, the anti-corporatist left was like, I sure hope Disney makes as much profit as they possibly can. I love when big corporations, when monopolies over the media make as much profit as they possibly can. I love it. I love it. Can't get enough of it. See, Matt Walsh, he's just too far above us, too big on this 4D chessboard. We are just being constantly checkmated. There's nothing we can do. It's like us. We're like, oh, you should have advertised it. It's like, if only you knew about the woke movie, then you would have seen it. It's like, well, if I knew there was a movie, maybe I would have gone and seen it.
For kids to be exposed to this kind of content. But Disney sabotaged it. And I can tell you right now that is not the case, and I can tell you for two reasons. One of them is anecdotal, which is that I definitely saw advertisements for this. I am not the target market for Disney films.
I did see one advertisement for this. It was on the side of a bus. Sometimes I see buses every now and then, and I did see one advertisement, and it was on the side of a bus for Strange World. I know, it was crazy.
And so many Disney films come out, and I don't even know about them. They're in theaters and they leave theaters, and I never even hear about them. Probably most Disney films at this point, I don't even hear about them. This one I heard about. And so it's anecdotal, but I can say that if I hear about it, then it's definitely being promoted, at least to the level of other Disney
I
films.
literally
Probably a
saw
lot more
zero
than that.
trailers for this. My anecdotal
Because
evidence
this
is
film
I saw
got
nothing.
Not only marketing, but it also got the free marketing from the media, making a big deal about it because it's gay teen romance.
What media? Again, I never saw anything about this. Does anyone? Maybe I maybe saw 2 ads. There we go. The intensive ad campaign for Strange World that you could again watch on Disney Plus.
Shattering the glass ceiling. So we know that's not true, but also this is not how movie studios work. Okay, they don't spend tens of millions of dollars making a film to then sabotage it on purpose. They want to make money on the project.
Maybe they did and then just didn't advertise it enough.
That is not the explanation. The explanation is that
It could
it's
be
not that
part
it was
of
promoted.
Disney's plan to like kill theaters too. You know, just not advertise it so like they get no theater revenue and can just move it over to their streaming services. By the way, I don't think Disney should have a streaming service. I love Disney Plus and a lot of the shows on it. Don't get me wrong, but like just as a general like kind of policy thing, I don't think Disney should have a streaming service. It's way too monopolistic. Corporations with that much control over the media already, I don't think should have a streaming service. I think they should have to lease it out to other services.
It's not that everyone is homophobic. It's 2 things. One, by all accounts, just looks like a bad movie where the message is put before the story, as I talk about all the time. Now we're seeing.
So, I do think it was a mid-movie, but the message was put after the story. And that was one of my main problems with the message, was that it was only brought up at the very end and not at the beginning. Literally, Like, it was a revelation that they had that had to be told to the audience. There was no subtle hints beforehand. There was nothing. It just was a random thing that happened at the very end.
Sort of in a bizarro world version of the mistake that the Christian film industry has made for so many years, where now the message is diametrically opposite, but the mistake is in making the message, you're putting the message before the story.
So true.
So that
I'm always doing that.
You couldn't possibly enjoy watching it unless you're fully bought into them. You're only there for the sermon. In other words, you're not there for the story itself. You got to put the story first. That's part of the
Whenever Matt Walsh does media stuff, he never watches it. Like, every time Matt Walsh has talked about media, he has never watched it. Never. Somehow climate change returned. Yeah, that was essentially what. No, literally, that was like somehow it's killing the planet. That is literally what it was. Like, we find out that the planet is literally alive. Like, it's. Did you guys ever see Sinbad? Like, Sinbad, what is it called again? Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but this living island that they had, this thing right here, this one, this island that they were on turned out to be alive, turned out to be like a giant fish. Pretty base, not gonna lie. Look at that, Chad. Anyway, yeah, it was like a giant anglerfish. Yeah, that's what the entire planet is. The entire planet's like literally a giant living thing. Yeah, that is literally what it was. Literally what the, how do I say it? What the planet was. We don't find that out till the end, too. Never, ever. Anyway, yeah, moving on.
And then also, as far as the message, this is not a message that most parents are interested in exposing their children to. It's just as simple as
Only good values,
And
classic
you can complain about it
American
all you want.
values.
One thing you notice is that most of the people complain.
Okay, shut up, Matt Walsh. Let's watch PragerU. Oh no. I don't want you guys looking at my Minecraft maps that I like to download. Alright, PragerU. Let's see here. Is inflation hurting your Thanksgiving? Let's see. I don't want to watch boring money stuff. Yay, fireside chat. Let's see. A transgender beauty pageant winner? Question mark. I wonder if maybe he'll actually talk about this.
Fireside chat number 265.
264. Close.
4, not bad. I'm back. Oh, I'm Dennis Prager, and this is Otto, who, if I were a betting man, I would bet will stay in for the entire fireside chat. It's actually been months since he hasn't.
Off to a good start. Indeed we are. We have
Where's
Otto.
Snoopy? Snoopy was just here. I was just petting him. Anyway, welcome. My chance to share with you some thoughts that I have and then take your questions. Well, first of all, I just came back from Denmark. I was invited to Denmark to give a speech. I spoke. I get nervous. See, he's gotten me hyper now. It's really funny. It's rare that I get nervous. But
Nice to,
I'm thinking.
nice to hear from Megan number 4. So true. Can't get a fitted suit by a Praggy Wiggy. You're so right. Like, look at this slacking suit. Come on, Dennis. You're a rich man. Get a properly fitting suit. You're absolutely right.
So I was invited to Denmark to give a speech, and actually it was at the Danish Parliament in Copenhagen. It was not to the Parliament. I don't want to exaggerate, but a member of Parliament gave us one of the beautiful rooms there, and it was the Danish Free Speech Society that brought me there. And I accepted the invitation because it was a great chance for a wonderful little vacation with my wife, to be perfectly honest, and because I wanted to support their cause, and because and this I think you'll find the most interesting of my reasons. My favorite thing in travel for the last, I would say, couple of decades. It used to be I traveled for great scenery, natural scenery, mountains, rivers, oceans.
That's me.
And man-made scenery, gorgeous.
Good hubby.
cathedrals,
I know,
the
taking
Taj
his wife
Mahal,
out for a
whatever it
nice
might be.
vacation. What a guy.
But I would say in the last half of my life, it's been to meet people. As I've often said.
Yo,
I've
what
said
is this
all of
video
my life,
about? I'm
actually.
really confused right now.
I love people.
Also, hey Evan, how you been? Hey Victor, it's good to see you, buddy. I'm doing great. I hope you're doing fantastic as well. It's good to hear from you. Genuinely glad you're here in the chat. This video is supposed to be about a transgender beauty pageant winner. However, the thing about Fireside Chat, Victor, is that Dennis Prager, he likes to talk. He's a talker. He likes to talk about things that aren't about what the video title is. Oftentimes, he doesn't get to the points of the video until like the very end. He begins to talk about it and then it abruptly cuts. That's how Denmark is transgender confirmed. Yes, indeed. That is the point of the video. That's a little twist at the end that we haven't seen yet. But Dennis Prager, he likes these little fireside chats. This is what we always get started. This is tradition on Evans News. When we're talking about PragerU, we like to, how do I say it? We like to watch a little bit of these fireside chats with Dennis Prager because we just love the guy. He's too, what's the word for it? He's too charming, you know, he's a charming guy. He goes off on his little tangents. Like about his pregnant coworkers, his dog, various other things, then begins to talk about what the point of the video is, and then, well, he, masculine, is a very masculine guy, and then at the very end, he gets into it, and then it abruptly cuts. That is the fireside chat of Dennis Prager. So right now we're listening to his little vacation into Denmark, to where he spoke to the Denmark Free Speech Society.
Contempt for humanity. Because it's the truth, and I want to. Oh no!
You lost your bet.
Now you know
You
I was
foolish
thinking.
man. You're a
He
fool
left.
in a man's shoes.
Didn't you think he was? I said if I were a betting man, it's good I'm not a betting.
Well, now
man.
you lost your bet. Go cry.
Bye, Otto. Well, at least you got him in the beginning. You know he's still living. Thank God. Anyway,
What if they just replace it? I can barely hear it.
love
I see
good
it. That's a
people.
random ass topic.
I
Here,
don't
let me
love-
see if I can get it up a little bit. Can you guys hear the video just fine? I'll turn it on. I'll turn it up just a little bit.
all people, but I do love good people. And I had a feeling that being invited by people in Europe, whatever country it might be, this being a Scandinavian country who loves freedom of speech, that I would meet wonderful
Good
people.
Christian
That's
values.
exactly what happened. I met wonderful people, and it was just
It was wonderful.
a joyful,
Yeah, that's better. Okay,
truly
perfect.
joyful trip. So I have a theory on Western
We should
Europe.
play zombies some days. I really miss the old days. Definitely.
Especially Scan-
We should. I have World at War and Black Ops 3. So either of those that you want to play, we can. I have so many custom zombies maps. So yeah, I really do. I really miss those days too. So if you want to play zombies, definitely hit me up.
Scandinavians, but not only, they're very well taken care of. They basically everything is taken care of, talking materially in their lives.
Like,
And they're very secular. There's almost no religion in Scandinavia. The churches, to the extent
Dang.
that they still exist, are pretty empty. Young people grow up godless, as increasingly is happening here. So my theory is
to
that
say, let's go
Western
indeed. Yeah, just hit me up,
Europeans
buddy.
are always described, especially Scandinavians, as very happy.
They're very
The
happy
happiest.
people.
If you look up happiest countries in the world, you'll see Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and though Finland is not strictly speaking Scandinavian, Finland will be up there. This is the general theory on the happiest countries in the world. My argument is, or my take, and I've been to these places many times. This was my third trip to Denmark.
I just got to see what he's trying to say.
It was the most intense because I really got to meet people and I wasn't just a tourist. I would say that those living in the welfare states, in rich welfare states, which is exactly what the Scandinavian countries are, I would say they're content. I don't know if they're happy. They may be.
As opposed to Americans who are miserable?
It's a very complex question. Are you happy? If you're honest about it, it's a very complex question. In some ways you are, in some ways you're not. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. But my take, and I lived in Europe for a year when I was in college, is that they are content, but I don't know how happy they are.
Isn't that better than being unhappy?
I'd like to know.
Like content usually means you're good with life, like you're fine with your life, like you're rolling, you're good, you're content with where you are.
I don't know these things, but I only raise this to
depression rates in Scandinavia. This is gonna be really broad. So let's see. In the Nordic countries, depression rates vary between 3.5 and 5%. Let's see. Does anyone know if mental health care is also universal in Scandinavia? Dang, even still, Americans have a higher depression rate. Even still, let me see. Is mental... Scandinavia is so broad, too. Let's see, is mental health covered? Let's just say in Sweden. Let me see. Mental... So it says that that it's integrated into the healthcare system and part of the same legislation to user fees as other healthcare systems. Does that mean that it's not? So we have good mental health, has positive mental health index, so that's cool. Sweden does have a good mental health index, so that's cool. But yeah, even without that, America has a higher depression rate by nearly 3 points. And younger people are really depressed. Yeah, look at that, 17%. That's really bad. Yes, indeed. So that's what we're looking at there. Anyway, don't know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. Shocking. So yeah, either way, even without free mental health care, Nordic countries do indeed are genuinely happier. So that's cool.
To make a distinction between contentment and happiness. They're not the same thing.
See, that's what I mean. That's the cut. Remember, guys, we did watch some stuff. They did indeed talk about some stuff. But the title of the video was a transgender beauty pageant winner. Had literally nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with anything that they said. So PragerU's always fun. Love PragerU. Always great. Should win the Nobel Peace Prize. Another banger. Which one? Yes, indeed. Another fireside chat banger. Can't get enough of them. Let's see. I want to watch something. Let's see here. Who should win the Nobel Peace Prize? Let's watch this one.
If the Nobel Peace Prize
I like these
was given out to
classic
people
types
who
videos.
truly made the world a more peaceful place, one group would win every year: the United States military. The U.S. Army.
Historically peaceful. That's what they all. The United States military, historically peaceful. They love peace. That's actually why we have such a large military, because of how much we love peace.
Air Force, Navy, and Marines.
I did just meme with that joke, but there is like some logistics to that. Like we do live in a very peaceful time relative to the past, but the U.S. military doesn't do peace all the time. Let's just say that.
Now, you may be thinking, how can you award a peace prize to a group whose purpose is to fight wars? Fair question. I'll tell you how. Because the reason we are free, the reason anyone on Earth today is free, is ultimately thanks to the U.S. military.
True.
They saved the free world from German domination in the
They
First
did.
World War. They saved the free world from Japanese and German fascism in the Second World War.
They did.
They saved the
Only
free world
America.
from communism in the Cold War. And they're saving it now.
Listen, okay. So even as questionable as the first two are, especially the first one, like we came in at the last moment in World War I. The Cold War literally had no military conflicts between us and the Soviets. So I don't know how you can put that on the U.S. military.
That might sound like an exaggeration, but only because they have protected us for so long. National security, the protection of citizens from an external foe, is not a given. Far from it. It's the product of the hard work of American military men and women who stand guard 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, every year. And they've been doing so for as long as any of us can remember. The First World War, the Second World War, the Cold War, the Korean War, both Iraq wars, the Afghan War. These were all conflicts that the U.S. tried to avoid. But they were wars that the U.S. fought not only for itself, but for good, decent, and free people everywhere.
I legitimately don't know how you can say the Afghan War was like that, or especially things like the Second Iraq War, which objectively made that region of the world worse. So with the First World War, we got involved because we essentially had like no choice. We kind of had to get involved because the Germans literally like tried to get Mexico to invade us. There was just economic interest to do so as well. And the thing is, like with the United States, like fighting against German domination, I don't know how much of the status quo with the First World War would have changed. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, the people fighting the First World War were all empires. Empires with tons and tons of colonies that were suppressing people during that war and after that war. Same thing with World War II to a certain extent, though the Nazis were a much bigger threat to freedom than the German Empire was, in my opinion. So I do think the U.S. definitely was the objective good guy in the Second World War, just because, you know, we were fighting against the Nazis. The Cold War, again, we didn't beat the Soviets with military occupation. We beat them with economic warfare. That's how we did it. With the first Iraq War, I guess you can kind of make that argument. The second one, we literally objectively made things worse within the region after we pulled out, because we did zero nation building over there. So, yeah.
Where the U.S. military was not ultimately victorious, the Vietnam War, 50 million people were deprived of freedom of speech, of assembly, of press, of travel, and of religion. As many as 2 million more were brutally imprisoned and murdered. The only reason South Korea isn't an open-air concentration camp like its northern neighbor is because America came to South Korea's defense nearly 70 years ago. To this day, we still have 30,000 troops stationed.
And at the end of the day, what about all the countries where the U.S. essentially invaded, not militarily? I'm gonna have to smoke some weed to watch this shit right now. I feel you, dude. I feel you. This shit's a pain in the ass. But, the United States, through various coups, set up objectively authoritarian regimes in a lot of these countries. South Korea was no bastion of democracy after the Korean War. South Korea was literally a dictatorship after the Korean War. For years and years, like until at least the 1980s, like it was at least a generation of just objectively authoritarian dictatorship for a while there. So yeah, it wasn't exactly the best place to live.
There to protect the free South from the unfree North. And it's not just the open conflicts the American military resolves, it's the not wars, all the conflicts that were never fought because our adversaries feared the consequences of American military involvement. Let's put it this way. The reason Iowa soybeans can be shipped from Seattle to Shanghai, or coffee from Columbia to Cleveland, is because the American military, specifically the Navy, stands guard over the world's shipping lanes. Block those lanes and the price of everything skyrockets, and international commerce grinds to a halt.
So there is some truth to this, I think, in the sense that like having well-patrolled oceans does help with like global security. The issue is that we're also in a time where I don't think it's necessarily necessary to have giant navies patrolling the oceans, you know what I mean? Most nations aren't going to go to war with each other for the simple fact of they're too economically tied to one another. One of the main reasons we wouldn't go into an open war with China was because it would be absolutely devastating to the United States economy. And that's with a lot of nations across the world. At the end of the day, the military has a part in keeping the ocean safe, but a lot of it is just because times are more peaceful now, and I don't think the American military has a ton to do with that. It does to a certain extent. U.S. global hegemony, just means that most people aren't going to pick a fight with the United States, so it's going to be a little bit more peaceful. Yes, indeed. You're absolutely right there, Nick. Nukes are a really good way of keeping global peace because people usually don't want to blow each other up. Nukes, when you have the superpowers of the world, if they go to war, they would just destroy themselves. Very good deterrent against going to war. A big reason why we're so peaceful nowadays. So yeah.
Like it or not, the U.S. military has been and remains as close to a global sheriff as exists on planet Earth. On the beat, keeping the peace. Don't believe me? Ask yourself this very simple question. What if China disarmed? Or Iran? Or North Korea? Or Russia? Think the world would be a better or worse place? The question answers itself. Now imagine if America disarmed. Think China stays out of Taiwan or Hong Kong? Iran out of Israel? North Korea out of South Korea? Russia out of Eastern Europe? And those are just state actors. Islamists would quickly return, bolder and more vicious than ever.
This is literally false. That last part is not even remotely based in fact. So, here's the thing. It is objectively true that if the United States pulled out in a lot of areas, Russia, China, probably not North Korea, they're just not that powerful of a country, Iran, that's only a positive for Americans. Yeah, wait, hold on. Can you expand on that really quick? What do you mean it's only a positive for Americans? Which part of what he said? He said a couple of things. Yes, it is objectively true that if the United States pulled out, these countries would kind of expand their influence. And if these countries disarmed, I would hope that the United States would disarm as well. Because at that point, there's no use for like a giant standing army. But yeah, it's not the greatest thing. Having a global military sheriffs. Oh yeah. So that is true. Having a giant military and having the United States be the global, sheriff, really does benefit the United States a decent amount. There are ways that, like, the global hegemon can benefit other countries as well, but it mainly benefits the United States.
In short, new conflicts would spring up and old ones reignite all over the world. Freedom would be in retreat every single day. That's the dystopian future of a world without the U.S. military. And that's because across the globe for the last 100 years and more, the bad guys have been thwarted. Not
only the United States has been the big guy. So I am not, I bleed red, white, and blue. This video is terrific. Exactly. USA. Just won another soccer match today. Tied with England the other day too. Let's go USA. USA. But I am not super pro the US pulling out of a lot of these areas, just because at the end of the day, it would mean like Russia, China would start to expand its influence, especially on something like Taiwan. One of the main reasons that China has not invaded Taiwan is because, you know, the US military is there and they would threaten war with the United States. So there are certain benefits to the United States having its ever expansion, like its military all over the place. But at the end of the day, I don't think we need it every single place that we have it. Like, I'm fine with having, you know, certain troops in certain areas of the world, but it's literally everywhere. The United States military is just too overblown. It's massive. It's just too big. Like, I feel like logistically it's just too big. You know what I mean? We're everywhere in the world, and I don't think we necessarily need to be. Yeah.
Only by the American military, of course, but in every major conflict, American military force has been decisive. That's why when you meet a veteran, someone who served in the armed forces, you should thank them. We have even set aside a special day for it, Veterans Day. Not Memorial Day, that's for those who lost their lives fighting for America and for freedom. Veterans Day is different. It's for all those who risked their lives so that we could keep ours. If that's not worthy of a thank you, what is? So this year, put out a
What
flag,
is
call a veteran,
indeed?
someone who honorably served in the U.S. military, maybe your dad or mom or uncle or family friend.
Then support them. No, literally. Like, they go on and on about veterans, but they never support veterans. Once the veterans get back, they're just kind of thrown into the real world, and then they just get fucked for the rest of their lives. They can't get... A lot of them have trouble finding a job. A lot of them become homeless. Mental health treatment for PTSD. Yeah. No, the way we treat our veterans is terrible. We love our giant military because it lets us project our power. Motherfuckers paying out of pocket for that wheelchair. No, literally, the U.S. Army did not pay for that wheelchair. It made him pay for that wheelchair. You're absolutely right there. But yeah. Thank you for mentioning that. No, literally. Yeah. The United States loves its military because we get to project our power across the world. That's what every country wants to do. And the United States has the biggest, it's the wealthiest country on earth with the biggest military, so it can project its power the best out of any country in the world. It's massive. So yeah, the United States has a massive army to just project its power. It loves doing that. But once those veterans come home, it's like, don't know if I want to support you there, buddy. Don't know if I really, really want to keep on supporting you. So yeah, the United States loves its military, but once that military comes home, they don't really want anything to do with them. It's been a major problem for years and years, especially with Vietnam veterans. There's been like lawsuits and everything. How did Elon screw up? Was it relating to Twitter? Yes, I completely forgot we were going to talk about that. Probably not going to, because I'm getting a little bit tired, but I do want to get into it a little bit. Is that Twitter has kind of been falling apart recently. Still working fine. Like, I can use the website just fine. So that's cool. But, so Elon, he came into Twitter and he fired a ton of people to the point that Twitter's running on what's essentially a skeleton crew, which just isn't great. He's losing... Yeah, I'm a big Twitter fan. True. I am too. I love using Twitter. I'm always on Twitter. But, so what happened is he fired, like, the vast majority of Twitter staff. Did you see his night post stand? Yes, I did. The dude, I don't know why the hell he posted that. Why would he do that? Let's see. Can we find the night post stand thing? Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. My bedside table. Yeah, we got this. Like, what is this? What is this, Elon? What is this right here in particular? Like, is that just his toy gun that he likes to play with? The flintlock pistol's pretty dope, not gonna lie. I kind of like that. I do like this, like the wooden type of gun. That's pretty dope. showing his love for freedom, literally. The Diet Coke and the huge Magnum. But this isn't real, though. That's not a real Magnum. I legit don't know why he posted it. Like, the 4 Coke cans, all these empty Coke cans and the giant mat. Like, what is he trying to do? Showing his love for freedom, literally. Like, look at this. That's a huge... I don't know why he posted it. There's no trigger. This isn't real, right? It's not a real Magnum revolver. At least have a real Magnum right next to you. I don't know why he has this. I don't know. Cringe. I didn't like this post. Thought it was weird. Don't know why he felt the need to share this with us. I'm pretty sure the musket is real. No, I am pretty sure this one's real. I will say I don't like Elon Musk. But I don't know what the fucking Magnum is. Could be real. I don't think it is, because there's no trigger or no hammer right here. It also looks way too sci-fi. Like, he just plays with it. Could be genuinely. I will say, guys, I would unironically buy this little pistol that he has up here. The little flintlock, the old gun. That's pretty dope. I would buy that. I think that's kind of nice. Other than that, I don't know why he felt the need to post this. Didn't like it. Don't like that guy. Yeah, I don't know why he felt the need to post this. It's whatever. Life goes on. You know how it is. Yeah, Elon Musk, I'm not a big fan of the guy. I gotta say, guys. I kind of hate him with a burning passion, actually. Recently, he went out of his way to make it so that he was going to fire most of Twitter. And he came in there and was like, guys, you're going to have to work just as hard as me. Like, I'm going to be expecting crazy work hours and everything. And if you don't, you're fired. Nah, bruh, he's super epic with narwhal style. You're so right. Never mind. I forgot how dope he was. But anyway, he goes into Twitter, and he's like, yep, I'm going to fire most of you. And people are like, yeah, fire the libs. Get them out of there. Get all those wokesters out of Twitter. So Elon goes in, fires most of Twitter, right? To the point that, like, they're not going to be able to enforce TOS. They can't do any of this kind of stuff. And lo and behold, what happens? A ton of advertisers start pulling away from Twitter because advertisers don't feel comfortable. Do you think he's evil? I don't know if he's evil. I do think he might be a really bad person. The question is he evil? Which one is he more of? Evil or dumb? Because his recent decisions have been extra dumb lately. What he's been doing with Twitter has been genuinely stupid. I don't know why he felt the need to do all this kind of stuff. To fire so many people. Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah, he essentially started firing a bunch of people. He went in there. He essentially, like, you guys either need to work this hard or I'm going to let you go. He starts to kind of, like I said, he fired a huge majority of the Twitter staff. He notoriously does overwork his employees. Everybody that I've know that works for a Tesla or SpaceX or something is really overworked to the point that they can barely function. Somebody told me that he goes into his factory sometimes and will just fire people that he doesn't think are working hard enough, just very randomly. Like, he'll go up and ask somebody what they're doing. If they can't think of a response, he just fires them like that. Yeah, he has a contempt for his workers. It seems like, I don't know any other reason than why he would be threatening to fire so many people. Yeah, he did a mass firing, and the way he did that was that when basically saying a lot of you are going to be fired. When you wake up in the morning, if you can't log into your little Twitter account thing, into your, like, you know, their employee account, if you can't log into that, that means you're out. And then a bunch of his ex-employees sued him, saying that he needs to give, like, for mass firings in a company, you need to give, like, 60-day notice for them to find another job. He didn't do that, so he got sued by a bunch of people. Yeah, it just seems like Elon Musk isn't quite as smart as people thought he would. He also barely ever delivers on his promises. Um, there was a thing with the Tesla Roadster that a bunch of people put in pre-orders for the Tesla Roadster, and they just, I don't know if they're genuinely ever going to get those pre-orders for the Tesla Roadster. He keeps saying he's going to do things, and then he puts on half-baked things. Once you start replying to libs of TikTok, you're evil. I do agree with that. The man just is, he's cringe. I don't like him. I don't like the way he treats his workers mostly. I don't like the way most business owners treat their workers also. I don't like the way he just constantly overpromises, constantly thinks of really dumb solutions to things. So, for one instance, right, he had his Hyperloop idea, which was essentially like a giant vacuum chamber between LA and San Francisco, right? That he did to counter the high-speed rail project for California, right? Now, the thing about Hyperloops is that they're really expensive and really hard to maintain because there's a bunch of individual pods within a vacuum chamber. The vacuum chamber takes energy to keep vacuumized, and then there's energy to get it, launched and all that kind of stuff. There's individual pods. If one pod breaks, the entire line is essentially screwed up because you need to go and grab the pod from the line. It's just a terrible idea. It's just not feasible. A train's just better because it's just more efficient. At the end of the day, it's easier to do. Then it turned out that Elon Musk only proposed his Hyperloop idea in order to get high-speed rail canceled. It's like, did he actually want to do the Hyperloop, or did he just not want high-speed rail? There was this boring company that he has that recently opened a thing in Las Vegas, to where the boring company, his solution to traffic, instead of, building a train, is to have a bunch of underground tunnels, each with their own little pods that would take you from one point to another. His original idea was to have under LA a giant system of tunnels, massive system of tunnels, with like one tunnel per pod or whatever. And because, that's literally impossible, that would take so much money and resources that, like, you can't do that. He had to keep downsizing his idea until it's literally just a paved road underneath the ground where self-driving Teslas can go under. So traffic's still a problem, but now it's just a fancy underground tunnel with lights. Pretty terrible stuff. What else did he do? I just thought of another example while I was talking. Oh yeah, I'm going to head off now, get stream, and take care. All you too, Sean. Have a wonderful night. What else did that man do? What else did Elon do? Oh yeah, do you guys remember a couple years back when we had that when there was a couple people I'm gonna bomb Hyperloop if they get us out of high-speed rail. Yeah. High-speed rail's dope. I would love bye Sean, yes indeed. Good night, Sean. Have a wonderful night. Yeah, I agree. High-speed rail's the way to go. It's just more efficient, it's cheaper. It can transport more people. It's just better than the techno garbage that Elon Musk is always proposing. A couple years ago, there were some kids who got stuck in a cave system in the Philippines that need to be rescued. And Elon Musk was gonna send in a robot to go get them. But when the government was able to save the kids, Elon Musk got super mad and started calling the leader of the group pedophiles and all that because he didn't get the glory of saving these kids. I don't like Elon Musk. True, more importantly, welfare queen Elon doesn't get any more government money. True that. Elon has been living off of subsidies. SpaceX is heavily subsidized, so is Tesla is heavily subsidized because, we want to encourage space travel, we want to encourage electric cars. And then during, what do you call it? Oh, God. Starlink was providing internet over Ukraine, right? And Elon Musk said he would do that for free. I thought that was a really cool thing. But then suddenly, when he realized, it's a whole war, and people would get mad at him if he cut off the internet, he was like, I guess we'll just keep providing internet for free while a bunch of other corporations get heavily subsidized in taxes. Wow, so interesting. Didn't know about this side of Elon. The thing about Elon is that Elon Musk wants to create this kind of cult of personality amongst himself. Like, if you like Elon Musk, go for it. I'm not going to tell you what you should and should not like. But the thing about Elon is that he has built a cult of personality amongst him around him in order to put himself on a podium that he's the one that will solve the world's issues, do a bunch of cool space stuff. But he's not. He is able to do things he does because of his engineers and because he pushes his engineers really hard to do the things that he wants. Hope you heard of his subscription that flopped. Now Twitter is losing millions each day. Yes, I have heard of that. It's really bad. Twitter's losing a lot of money. I think Elon literally had to sell some of his own Tesla stock in order to finance Twitter, from my understanding. Yeah, literally, the man had to sell his own Tesla stock, use his own money to keep Twitter from falling apart because it just wasn't making enough money on its own. Yeah, it was really bad. I don't think Elon Musk wanted to buy Twitter in the first place, because he tried to back out of the deal at first. Like, he literally offered to buy Twitter for way overvalued. I don't know why he would do that. So yeah, now he's losing tons of money because he made a bad business decision at the end of the day. The subscription service is pretty bad, to be honest. I think he's walked back a lot of it, right? But yeah. Like, you can get Twitter Blue. Yeah, fun stuff. So Elon hasn't been having the best couple of weeks lately, losing a lot of money. Tesla stocks have also been dropping like crazy. Like, look at this. Yeah, it's been going down consistently over the past couple weeks. Let's do 5 years. Like, let's do 1 year, year to date. How about that? Like, look how much gotta go. Good night, brother. Hope to hear from you soon. Cheers. You too, Victor. I'll make sure to hit you up. That way we can play some zombies later on. But you have a wonderful night. See you, man. Have a good one. But anyway, this is what I was trying to show you guys, is look at the Tesla stock recently. So Tesla stock has been so overvalued this past year. I think it had like a price to earning ratio of like well over 2. I feel like it might have been 800, but I don't want to say anything for sure. Don't want to say anything for surezies. But anyway, so sorry. Yeah, the 52-week high was $400. Like, it has literally lost well over half of its value over this past year. Like, look at this. Just, it's gotten smashed because, again, Tesla was extremely over. It's been a really bad, couple months for Elon. Ever since September, my libertarian ass ply-sci teacher loved his Tesla stock. Because, let me see. Can I get a 1 year? Maybe 5 years. Like, look at this. This was, if you invested in Tesla in 2019, even to now, you've made a decent amount of money. But especially if you sold it, like, geez, bought 10 Tesla stocks, bada bing, bada boom, you just made $4,000. Yeah, no. I mean, you made money off of it. You did good. But yeah, like, what matters more is how the company's doing. And look how overpriced it got within 2 years, right? From 2020 to 2022, the stock blew up. Like, look how huge it went. It's wild. It's disgusting how much it's blown up, actually. And now it's crashing again. Tesla's crazy overvalued. It makes shitty cars, and because of that, like, I wonder what's that's done to Elon Musk's net worth, actually. Oh no, he's still well into the richest man on earth. Wow, yeah, the man is worth nearly $200 billion. That's wild. $181 billion. Oh, he has lost $10 billion, but yeah. Yeah, man's net worth is insane. Jeez, these people are so fucking wealthy. Insanely wealthy people. God, I hate them. But, yeah. Tesla's been crashing lately. It's gone up a ton over the past 5 years. I wonder what the max is. Max is at, yeah, wow. That's Tesla for you. But yeah. Elon Musk has not been having the best couple of weeks. I don't think he's gonna, I mean, he's worth too much. He's not gonna die because of this. But yeah, it just proves that Elon Musk isn't actually that smart of a guy. It's kind of a little dumb. Anyway, with that, everybody, I think I'm gonna go to sleep. You guys have a wonderful night. Sleep tight. Do not let the bed bugs bite. And I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys have a wonderful night, and I'll talk to you later. Peace out.